y'all. So this is real struggle. Rice and beans. Rice and beans. 101, alright? Yo. So, let me stop saying y'all. I'm just so excited. This is so true when people say words create worlds. Words create worlds. And I'm just seeing it. Like, I've seen it before, but I'm just seeing even more of the manifestation of the promises of God in my life and what is about to kick off. Okay? And so I remember that when I was going for one of the pageants, and I got an interview from a couple of people from the news, and they were saying, okay, what do you plan on doing? And what I said was, I don't know how this came out of my mouth. I plan on creating a shelter that's gonna help with education. It was like an epicenter, and I was like, my mouth closed because I was surprised that I even said that, because the night before I had the interview with this news reporter, and this was years ago. Like, this had to be like, I want to say about 8 or 9 years ago. And I remember, y'all excuse this because my window is broke. Y'all know that, right? So, yeah. And it's raining, so go figure. Anywho, and I ain't finished doing my hair, but most people ain't gonna know that this a whole little cap. People think this is a hat, but it's not. I just didn't finish doing my hair, y'all. Tripe, but whatever. Anywho, Bill, you didn't get your lights on? No. Anywho, I started noticing now how the manifestation is from the job that I had before, when the guy said, I feel like God is telling me to rest. And that, he was talking about how he was given that title and that office, and how, because he used to be on the board, but how it was given to him. And so, I started laughing because I was like, dang, man, that's close to what, if this is not what is for me, if this place is not what is for me, it's showing me that it is possible, and it's coming up next. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. It's coming up next. And so, I thought about that. I was like, whatever. What I'm doing right now is to get myself ready and prepared for what God has for me. Just get prepared. You can't have something. God's not going to give you something if He doesn't know that if He knows that you're not willing to hold on to it. You're not able to keep it and obtain it and maintain it. And so, you have to do your best to get yourself prepared in certain aspects. And that it might not mean always going to get education. For me, it was, of course, getting more education. I will have to continue to go to school for the rest of my life. So, I finally made peace with that, because I was just, at first, it's just like, come on, man, this has got to, I love learning without end. Okay, that's not the part, but being in a facility and learning that way is not always the best for me. So, anywho, and so I started to go back to school. I started taking care of my health. I started dressing a little bit better, because you see how I was dressing before, and I told y'all how God was telling me, He told me to dress down one time, and I stayed there, and it was really, really hard. It helped me a lot when I started dressing down, because people were more open to help me when I needed it. But this season, He was telling me to dress up, and I was scared about that, because I'm like, man, I don't even got enough, but I had to keep the faith and be like, okay, God told me this. He hasn't left me yet. Keep going. He also told me about some other private matters that linked into that, and I knew it was going to change. And so I was like, okay. So I started moving towards this direction. Things started to accelerate. When I say accelerate, it was crazy. Like, having the right people or people that are very similar. There wasn't the issue of having lack. It's to find out which one was the best, which way is the best portion for you, which way is the best style for you. You know, that's what I was dealing with. That's what I was having issues with. And like I said, God was just showing me, like, there's the promise. Like, the promise is here. All you have to do is follow it. And I look at it now. I didn't think about it until I looked at that myself in the newspaper and read what I literally said, what I said to the news reporter about creating a shelter that had these different tools and these different resources. Also, when I had that dream, after it happened, I knew that I didn't have the resources then. This was like 2014. I knew I didn't have the educational background. I didn't have the resources. I didn't know what was going on. But what I did was started planning. I had this, I made this book. It was like a projector, Trapper Keeper projector, Trapper Keeper book. And it had the title of what the shelter was going to be called, the rooms, the things like that, the educational resource. And it was so crazy. Like, it tripped me out. And I'm like, dang, you know, dang. And so, yeah, it got to me, you know. It started making me cry because I'm like, dang, God is with me, even when I don't even know, even when I don't know He's with me. That's the good thing, you know. That's the true thing of grace and mercy right there. And God with you, even when you don't even know He with you, even when you don't know He's with you. And so, what I wanted to talk, and not only that, just about me winning a national title before, and all of this stuff, and that has given, you know, has given me insight to understand, don't worry. If God promised you something, it is going to come. No matter what people say, no matter what they do, they can say whatever they want. They can throw so many obstacles in their way. They can do all of that and above. But guess what? It's not going to work, because that's not what God had for you. You know, you have to go and you have to follow what God has for you. You know, I have to remember to say, what God has for me, it is for me. I remember that song when you was like a kid. Hey, that's the same thing. I know without a doubt He's gonna make it all right. What God has for me is for me. And that's not the exact lyrics. I wasn't saying the lyrics, but it sounded like it. But I just had to keep that so, because that was the promise that God gave me. That was the ultimate, the true promise that God said that He was going to do and He would do. And I see it now. I didn't see it then. I was just like, I don't know what it is. I'm just gonna go and serve. I'm gonna drop. I have to drop this. And literally what I did was drop what I was doing and put more of my attention towards that way. You know, I still would work, I still would do certain things, but I would drop. I began to drop things that were, you know, that were important to me, but they were no longer as important, because I had a different mindset. I had a different understanding about my calling. And so, which helped me a lot. Tremendously. And so, like I said, just stay with the promise. If God has promised you something, not man, not what you believe, not nothing. If God already promised you that, and then you just speaking it out, let me tell you, it's going to happen. The only way that it does not happen is if you reject it. You don't follow through. Faith without works is dead. If God already gave you that, that's what I had to think about. And I was like, dang, well, maybe it ain't gonna come, because I don't have that. I don't have this. You ain't had nothing when God told you you was gonna have it. So why you complaining? Why you tripping? You know, why are you tripping? You know, it's just, we be around people, we be telling ourselves, yeah, we believe in God, but do we really trust Him? When your bank account is empty and He telling you you're gonna be a millionaire, do you trust Him? Or when you done paid, listen, when you spent your money wisely. I had this happen to me, y'all, and I'm telling y'all, it was so, some of it was humiliating, and other times it was relieving. You worked 2 jobs and you still couldn't pay your bills. And I mean, I cut that thing, I budgeted so much to the point I even had somebody to even look over. They like, Bill, you really did budget everything you had. You literally just didn't have it. You literally just didn't have it. And how does that, how does that go? How does that even, make sense that that you have faith and you're standing on that promise? People don't tell you that. That's the kind of faith you're gonna have to have. That's the faith that I had to work with. Sometimes a teeny taught, and people think that faith, when they say faith and fear don't stay in the same cubicle. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. It doesn't. I literally had to go walk through doors and go through things in fear. I knew I had faith, and I had to overcome that fear by walking while I had fear. While I had fear, I had to sometimes walk without having the possibility of having food on my table, without the possibility of being homeless again, going after the promise. People don't tell you that. 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 But I'm here to tell you because I've been through it. But if you listen to it, let me tell you another thing, because I remember somebody else saying this, not telling me personally, but I remember somebody else, and I think it was Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he was talking about how to walk in faith even in times of fear. And I don't think that was the actual that wasn't the actual terminology that he used, but it was something very close and very similar, and it has the same purpose. And he even talked about how he was preaching and how he was anointed, how he was preaching, and he was on food stamps. Okay, how he was preaching, man, bruh, humbling experience. I thought I never ever have to see the day, because I'm like, man, I work so hard. I'm gonna work and I'm gonna not see it. Nah, this God allowed things to happen, and I'm grateful for that. But how God needs to see that, like, you have to stand in that promise. But he talked about that a lot, and how he had to keep moving and keep going in order for that to manifest, in order for his dream to manifest. The potter's house would have never been a potter's house had he ever stopped. Had he stopped, people talk about that. I don't see them humble beginnings, and I look at myself and I'm like, dang, I need to get it together, because I'm not making it right. I'm not getting it together. And I'm like, it seems like I'm going up and down, like it's another barrier after another barrier. I overcome this barrier, then it's another barrier. Like, why isn't it steady? Why isn't it a flow? You have to be consistent. You just have to be consistent. And that's part of true faith. That's consistency, dedication. See, when you really have faith in something, it does not matter. If you really believe in something, let me tell you, you really believe in something, you do not care what happens, what goes on. You just do not care. You don't deter from something. Now, say for instance, just like your job, people talk about that, but you have faith in your job more. People have more faith in their job than they do in God. that's kind of messed up, but I used to be one of those people too. Okay, you go to that job every single day because you in fear, because I gotta make my payments. Now, I'm not saying that that's a part of fear, but you go to a job that mistreats you, that abuses you, that downplays your gifts, that criticize others, not only you but others, in order to say, I got this kind of title. I've had people who do this, so I know this is not a lie. Just for a status, for a title, for recognition, for housing, which all of those things are not bad things, but it can become, let me go to Marshall's. It can become strenuous when, and it will, when you put that over what God tells you. God tells you, now, I'm not telling nobody to quit their job. I'm not telling anyone to quit their job. I'm not telling them to be Beyonce, talking about, I just left my job and all that, okay? What I am saying is that if you know that God has a promise for you, why aren't you and you believe in it, why aren't you preparing for that promise? If you know this is not the job that you're going to be in, why aren't you getting all the skills that you can, all the knowledge that you can, all the resources that you can in order to get to where you need to go? That's crazy. You're going to look up 20, 30 years from now, I wish I should have did this. Some people did this. I'm not being a shoulda, coulda, woulda, okay? And we got a lot of people who are in that space. And I want to say this. I want to say this, okay? Because I don't need nobody trying to attack me or going mayhem off of the off of their beliefs that I done attack them. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is that if you have a promise and you supposed to be in faith, then follow that promise. Don't deter from it. Because the moment that you deter from it could be the closest time for you to get to your next part or your next season in life. Okay? Had I not went to that pageant, I would have never been crowned. And I thought about not going. I had just got finished going through cancer. I had just finished going through so much in my life, that, and honestly, I didn't feel like I was worthy. I didn't feel like things were gonna pan out the way that they did. I left with y'all. Everything happens for a reason, because God told me I was gonna wear this dress, but I ended up getting prepared and getting a dress. And the dress that I had, that I designed to get. What? Is it time? There's a lot. Why is she standing by the door? That's the thing. Thank you. Oh no. But the dress that I decided to wear, I did not wear. I thought I packed it. Didn't pack it, y'all. I didn't pack it. I didn't pack the dress. Ended up having a dress that I had got from the Salvation Army, y'all. Kid y'all not. That's the dress that I won the pageant in. Excuse me. Ooh, they got rhinestones. Let me go this way. Yeah, that was the dress that not the dress that I spent the money on. It was the dress that I got from the store. So understand this. When God has something for you, it is for you. No man can stop it. No woman can stop it. No being can stop it. Okay? If you accept it and submit to the alignment of God's will for your life, that's all you have to do, is submit. That is it. God will take care of the rest. It. You don't have to do nothing and just stand firm. Might be a little wobbly, might be a little shaky. I ain't gonna say it was easy. Never will. Because I know this is hard. Sometimes it's mind-boggling. But I promise you, every time I had to sit down and wait for God or do something like that, it was so worth it. Every single time I had to wait on God. I promise y'all, it was worth it. It was worth it. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that because I've seen it for myself. I witnessed it, and I'm witnessing it now. Like, I'm witnessing it now more than ever. Sometimes it's so, people talk about the fear of walking forward and walking in faith, about, the troubling times, but sometimes walking in faith is walking in faith during the good times, when God about to blow that thing up. Okay? When I say God about to blow, man, like everything around you is about to be wonderful. Everything that you touch is going to be wonderful, because God is with you. God never lets you go unnoticed by doing good for him. He does not. Okay? Not only that, he'll open it up to where people who have notoriety and who have, increase, to come and tap to you because they see that you are diligent. Okay, I just tried to be a little quiet because y'all know I'm in a Dollar Tree. But I just wanted to testify that. I just wanted to testify. I get too caught up on church, but I did want to talk about the goodness of God, and to stand on His promise, stand on His mother loving promise, and you can bet your last dollar it's gonna come through. I'm doing it right now, and I'm seeing that. I'm seeing it. All that detaching from people, it was worth it. All the synchronization and getting in alignment, it was worth it. All the praying, all the sacrifice, all the name calling, all the belittling, all the injustices, it was worth it. The head crash, the getting hit by a car, flying up in the air, and not having health insurance, and they turning me away, and then having a policy, which I already knew they had a policy, because y'all know I used to volunteer into a hospital. I used to volunteer effortlessly, give my time, my money, all that to a hospital. So I know a lot about the policies and medical procedures and the things that they give. And I was volunteering at this particular hospital, and I still had that bill, y'all. Still got that bill to this day. Um, it was all worth it. It was all worth it. Going and working at that shelter and volunteering at that shelter when I didn't have no money. Um, Working when I had blood coming down the back of my head. When um, my lights got turned off, and I had to go and ask that same church that I had to volunteer from for assistance, to say, can I work it off? Can I do this? And they, kind of turned on me. It was worth it. It was worth it because God got the glory. Not because, look at me now. It was because God got the glory. It opened up a lot of people's eyes. It opened up a lot of things that um, most people don't see. Most people don't see. So you have to understand about that promise. Follow the promise, because I promise you, it's so worth it. It is so, so, so worth it. I'm gonna get off of here because I don't want to cry. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned. Your journey to Jerusalem. Bye.